When Sean "Diddy" Combs was sentenced to over 4 years in federal prison, the entire entertainment world froze. But the biggest story isn't the courtroom verdict. It's what comes next. Because behind those prison gates, status means nothing. And according to one ex-mob boss, Diddy's fame could make him more of a target than a success story. This is the shocking truth about what life will really be like for Diddy behind bars. From where he might serve time, to the brutal social hierarchy he'll face inside. After months of investigation, shocking evidence, and viral videos that no one could unsee, Diddy's world finally collapsed. He faced 5 federal charges: racketeering, sex trafficking, and interstate transportation for prostitution. The jury ultimately cleared him of the most severe allegations, but convicted him on 2 counts of moving women across state lines for commercial purposes. Each of those carries up to 10 years in prison. But the judge settled on a 50-month sentence, just over 4 years. That moment ended one of the most powerful runs in music history. But it didn't end Diddy's story. It just changed the setting. Because instead of red carpets and private jets, his next chapter begins inside a cold federal facility. The judge denied bail. The reason? The disturbing hotel video showing him physically assaulting Cassie Ventura, and the court's belief that Diddy posed a danger and a flight risk. Now, he sits at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, waiting for his permanent assignment, a process that could decide how dangerous his time will be. While the public celebrates a guilty verdict, the real fight happens quietly, in paperwork. Prosecutors are demanding a harsher punishment, pushing for over 5 years behind bars. They argue Diddy's actions weren't isolated. They were part of a long-running pattern of abuse and control. Diddy's defense team is begging for leniency, claiming the sentencing guidelines were applied unfairly. They've requested a term closer to 2 years, pointing to his so-called positive contributions and philanthropy. But here's the catch. The judge isn't bound by either side. He can go higher or lower than both recommendations. That decision could come down to one factor: public pressure. The case is national news. The public outcry is intense. And judges, whether they admit it or not, don't operate in a vacuum. So, while lawyers debate numbers, Diddy's future is being decided by something much bigger: his reputation. Once sentencing is finalized, Diddy will be handed over to the Federal Bureau of Prisons, which decides where he serves his time. His team is lobbying for Fort Dix, a low-security facility in New Jersey. It's not exactly a camp, but it's one of the softer federal prisons in the system. Fewer violent offenders, more open spaces, and programs like drug treatment and rehab. But Fort Dix isn't the safe haven some imagine. Reports show frequent contraband smuggling, gang tensions, and staff shortages. For a celebrity like Diddy, that means constant attention, and not the kind he's used to. Every inmate will know who he is. Every move he makes will be watched. And everyone will want something: respect, protection, or a payout. Because inside, fame isn't power, it's leverage. This is where Michael Franzese, a former Colombo crime family capo, enters the story. He's lived the life, served the time, and understands exactly how power shifts once the bars close. Franzese explained that for a man like Diddy, status means nothing behind prison walls. "Nobody cares how much money you made," he said. "In there, the only thing that matters is respect, and how you earn it." He painted 2 possible paths for Diddy. If he's sent to a medium-security prison, he could build alliances with powerful inmates, using his wealth and fame to stay safe. Inmates might treat him like an asset, helping him navigate the hierarchy in exchange for favors. But if he ends up in a low-security or camp-style facility, the dangers actually shift. Franzese explained that camps have less supervision, more freedom, and more jealousy. That's where you get guys testing you, he said. They'll want to see what you're made of. He warned that Diddy could face manipulation, extortion, and constant social pressure. Not from hardened criminals, but from people who want to use his name, his money, or his connections. And while Diddy's lawyers are pushing for comfort, the ex-mobster believes that being around normal inmates might actually be riskier. When people think you have something to offer, that's when you're in the most danger, Franzese said. Even before prison, Diddy's image had taken a beating. The Cassie video, the lawsuits, the accusations, all of it turned public sentiment against him. Now imagine that same reputation following him into a cell block. Guards, inmates, even prison staff will already have opinions about him before he arrives. Some will resent him for his fame. Others will idolize him. Both are dangerous. In prison, there's no privacy. Every favor, every friendship, every word gets analyzed. A smile at the wrong person could start a rumor. A snub could start a fight. And as Franzese warned, celebrity prisoners live under a microscope. You can't have a bad day, he said. One mistake can turn into a headline. For Diddy, it's not just about surviving physically. It's about surviving socially. If he isolates himself, he'll be seen as arrogant. If he opens up too much, people will try to use him. Either way, it's a trap. Not long ago, Diddy was untouchable. Billion-dollar deals, a global brand, and one of the most powerful names in entertainment. Now, every ounce of that power is gone. His companies have cut ties. Partners have distanced themselves. His empire has been gutted. When sentencing day came, he cried in court, apologized to Cassie, and called his actions shameful. But prosecutors weren't convinced. They argued his remorse was calculated, pointing to public appearances and PR moves in the days leading up to sentencing. Even in prison, the cameras may be gone. But the judgment won't stop. For a man who built an empire on image and control, losing that control might be the hardest sentence of all. When Diddy walks out, whether it's in 3 years or 5, the world waiting for him will not be the same. Music has moved on. Brands won't touch him. And his public trust? Gone. The question is, will he try to rebuild, or will he disappear? Some insiders believe he'll attempt a quiet return, producing music or mentoring from the background. Others say the industry has permanently closed its doors. But one thing is certain. After this, there's no going back to the old Diddy. The courtroom drama might be over, but the real story is just beginning. Behind the walls of federal prison, Sean Diddy Combs will face something he's never encountered before. A world where money means nothing, and survival means everything. Michael Franzese's warning echoes louder than ever. In prison, you find out who you really are. Whether Diddy rises from this or collapses under it, that's the question only time, and those same walls will answer. Because for the first time in his life, Diddy's not running the show. He's just another inmate, learning what power really costs.